I am so excited about this. Let me just make sure that the stream is connected and working. I have Instagram here, I have Facebook camera here. All right. This one. It is 5 o'clock. And I am so excited about this. Hello. Hello everyone. Most of you who are watching this should know me. And I am so excited that you have decided to come to my little book release live stream party. I am so excited about this. You have no idea how excited I am about this. And here is the book itself. Feathered Friendship is out. It is in paperback form, available signed from my website. It is available in ebook form on Amazon. There are links in my Instagram bio. There's a link up on the Facebook stream as a pinned comment with more information about Feathered Friendship and where you can find it. It may be a couple days before the paperback is available on Amazon because I've had a little bit of a technical issue with that, but it will be there. And for those of you who haven't seen all of my posts about it, the physical paperback book, if you would like a signed copy, that comes with some shiny stuff. And I have extra shiny stickers with the cover art. Just all the shiny stickers. And I have shiny bookmarks, also with the cover art, that have my favorite tagline I've come up with the book so far, which is "Something new is about to hatch." And for those of you on Instagram, I'm sorry, my video may be backwards for you. But these have the lovely little tassels that I have made myself, and when my bookmarks come in, I will be making some more of those tassels on a live stream like this to show y'all how I make those, because they're really cool. They've got a little star and things. And of course, the little origami budgies that I have been folding that I will have to put in those. And all of this is also up in the store on my website. I will be doing another stream soon, folding some more of these, and then I will be putting up a video of what it looks like when I spray paint their little heads white. But all of that comes with the signed copy of the book, and if you go to my website, you can still get those. For those of you who have already pre-ordered the physical signed copy, yes, you will be getting the shiny things. I will be wrapping those up and putting them in the mail tomorrow, and thank you so much for supporting me. If you've gotten the ebook and you still like my shiny stuff, you can also get that from my website, kdsilverwings.com. Easy to find. And now for the fun part of this. Point of note, I don't know if you can hear them, but I am in the studio right now. I have asked the cats to not escape from their containment area, and you may hear them meowing in the background because Miniki is operatic and does not like it when she's not allowed to get on the camera. But anyway, so I have the book here, and I am going to read you the first chapter of Feathered Friendship and tell you a little bit more about the book. This is a novella. It is from a sort of shared universe of stories that I've been working on for the last couple of years. I have upwards of 20 stories and a very long form project in this same universe. It is an optimistic future in which there are friendly aliens who are part of humanity's spacefaring civilization, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on with it, and I don't want to spoil it all, but this book is about two of my favorite characters in the entirety of everything I've ever written, and the first chapter of their story starts like this. In a small private laboratory on the starship MSS Venture, a woman sits sorting through images and data on a set of holoscreens. She's dressed in the ship's standard yellow-accented gray sciences department uniform with the knee-length kilt-style skirt instead of trousers. A long white lab coat drapes over the top of her uniform, the ship's insignia and her name neatly embroidered over the breast pocket. An especially bright yellow and green bird is perched on top of the woman's head, sleeping with its feet securely gripping the elastic band holding her wild reddish-brown curls up in a looped ponytail. This is Dr. Ariadne Salzar-Newman, one of the most brilliant xenobiologists to have ever graduated from the Central Academy of Sciences at Teagarden Star. She's the head of Venture's bioscience team, and in her spare time is something of an enthusiast for the Earth species Melopsitacus undulatus, more commonly known as the budgerigger, a member of the parakeet family. One whole wall of the space behind her is arranged with open cages and a wide variety of perches, ropes, and hanging toys. A dozen more budgeriggers of various colors are sleeping on and around these perches. The birds have free reign of Dr. Salzar-Newman's personal workroom, and although they're technically supposed to stay there, the one currently sleeping on her head often accompanies her wherever she goes. A long weighted bead curtain hangs over the door of the workroom to discourage the rest of the birds from escaping into the rest of Venture's main biosciences laboratory. The running joke among the other members of her team is that one day she's liable to grow feathers herself for all the affection she has for her birds. They respect her despite this bit of eccentricity, or perhaps in part because they find it endearing. A wind chime-toned voice from the other side of the bead curtain draws Dr. Salzar-Newman's attention away from her work. "Dr. S., are you home?" "I'm in here, Kobe. Come on ahead." She spins around in her chair to face the door, disturbing the slumber of the budgerigger perching on her head. It fluffs its feathers out and chirps at her in annoyance before settling back into a comfortable position. A small adolescent Floriban steps through the bead-covered doorway and into the workroom. This is Cobalt Meriday, Dr. Salzar-Newman's favorite part-time assistant and protege. They're a provisional apprentice to Venture's senior quantum space drive engineer, one of the two adult Florivans responsible for moving the ship through the veiled dimension that their species calls Strange Space, with the assistance of their human astral navigator counterparts, a form of transit which allows humanity's starships to travel over greater distances than the laws of physics would allow in a reasonable amount of time, but is not without its dangers. As their public name suggests, under their bright pattern of tiger-like silver stripes, Cobalt is a brighter blue example of their genderless, asexual, mostly humanoid species. The hair around their cat-like ears and the rest of their head is a mess of silver cowlicks, having once been cut much shorter and now being in the process of growing out. The locks that would otherwise fall into their 3 golden eyes are secured back with a set of crossed bobby pins that each have a small yellow star on one end. They're dressed in the Navquan department's charcoal gray version of the trouser-cut uniform, tailored to allow all 4 of their arms and their long silver-tufted prehensile tail to move comfortably. Additionally, they're wearing a small cloth and mesh pouch, secured on a sash beneath their lower set of arms. "I didn't expect you so soon, dear. Is it morning already?" "Yes, technically," Cobalt replies, coming over to her. "You did say to come back once I was done helping with the jump shift, and Elder Navy let me out of the second cycle tonight. Have you been in here with the birdies all night again?" "I suppose I have," Dr. Salzar-Newman says with a bright laugh. "Must have lost track of time going through those reports Diego gave me earlier. Don't worry, I'll catch some sleep once we're done here. How did your jumps go?" "It went okay for once, mostly." All 3 of Cobalt's eyes shift to one side as they remove the sash and bag and pointedly change the subject. "Elder Navy asked about your bag, by the way, but I didn't know what to tell them except that it was for your research and you said it shouldn't be opened." "Really?" "I know I spoke to them about this project. Perhaps we'll have to discuss it again." "They said they'd ask you when they see you at breakfast." Cobalt offers the bag to her, holding it carefully. But that it didn't seem to cause any interference with the jumps, so they'd probably be okay with approving it once they know what you're up to. Well, now, that's good news. Dr. Salzar Newman takes the bag and rolls her chair over to one of the other work tables where she has her incubators and analysis equipment set up. Now, let's see what you've brought through quantum space for me. What is in there anyway, Dr. S? Ah, didn't I tell you earlier? You didn't. I was running late for the jump shift, remember? Cobalt rolls their third eye dramatically while leaving the lower pair still and then smiles. You just handed it off and said to keep it with me tonight. Now, what is it? Small treasures, dear. I chose two of Judith's clutch for this experiment. Eggs? All three of the young Florvin's golden eyes widen as they look between Dr. Salzar Newman's excited face and the collection of small birds perched around the room. You really had me carrying eggs through the Strange? I was sure I told you. Dr. Salzar Newman clucks her tongue thoughtfully, then brightens again. But yes, dear, of course. How else could I test for the effects? I love Navy to bits, but you know as well as I do that they were hardly going to let me send a whole bird in with you. Of course they wouldn't. It's too dangerous. But an egg is a bird too, Dr. S. Not yet, Kobe. Just the possibility of a bird. If there's one thing I've learned hanging around Navy all these years, it's that quantum space likes possibilities. Now let's see what we have here. Dr. Salzar Newman carefully opens the layers of mesh padding and removes a small white egg, setting it into a testing apparatus. Cobalt watches over her shoulder with interest as the equipment scans the egg and shines a light behind it, illuminating the fine red tracing of veins over the yellow mass within and projecting an enhanced image of all of this on the display screen in front of them. Dr. Salzar Newman looks back to them with a broad, excited grin. There we are, Kobe, see? One healthy and viable embryo, although we'll have to wait a few more weeks to see how it hatches and if exposure to quantum space has affected it at all. I had a feeling the shell would be enough to protect it. I'm glad the embryo wasn't harmed, says Cobalt, a concerned tone still coloring their voice. The tuft at the end of their tail twitches softly. That bag of yours would hardly keep the miasmas from getting in. That was the idea behind the mesh design, Kobe, and that it let them all out again when you and Navy brought us back to normal space. Zoe would never forgive me if I went and exposed myself by accident again, you know. Elder Navy wouldn't have been happy either, Dr. S. They wouldn't have let me bring this to you if they thought that it could have hurt you. Both of them worry too much about me, I'd say, Dr. Salzar Newman chuckles. Now, Kobe, don't you start worrying too. I can hear that tone of Navy's in your voice already. Yes, ma'am. I'll try not to. Cobalt, though, has ample reason to be concerned. Direct contact with quantum space is incredibly harmful to humans. Exposure is known to cause blindness, insanity, and even death in a matter of minutes, depending on the circumstances. This is why Florvin has to be in the sealed quantum space drive bay to run the nightly transit cycles, while the rest of the ship serves as a safe bubble of normal space. Their species is halfway native to the veiled dimension and immune to its effects. In the course of her career thus far, Dr. Salzar Newman has been briefly exposed to various amounts of quantum space miasmas, no fewer than 8 times. Her team often attributes her more pronounced eccentricities to this, but as Venture's primary NavQuan team can attest, she was mostly the same even before her first significant near-death experience. What is this experiment anyway? Cobalt asked, tilting their heads slightly to one side. I thought you said you wanted me to help you with research on training birds to serve on starships. I am researching that, dear. And what better way for a bird to help than to detect miasma leaks in the case of an emergency? From the look on their face, Cobalt is utterly flabbergasted by this thought. Now, says Dr. Salzar Newman, setting the egg into a waiting incubator, we'll see how one egg does with just the initial half-jump cycle's worth of exposure. She takes a second egg out of the pouch to examine it in the same way she had the first. The other one will keep riding with you every time you go jumping until it's ready to hatch. You really might want to make sure that Elder Navy's okay with that. Oh, naturally, but they did agree to let you assist me and carry the bag, and this experiment is paramount to my research, you see. These two are my proof of concept eggs. I need to know whether exposure can affect the embryos at all to start, and what happens with a prolonged series of regular exposures. You're looking for a specific effect, then? Ideally. It is documented that humans who survive longer exposures retain a minor sense of which side of the veil their ship is on, after all, and in rare cases are even able to identify the presence of miasmas almost as well as a Florvin can. Like you do sometimes, then. Precisely. My theory is that a bird could acquire the same ability and be able to patrol the ship with a handler and point out potential miasma leaks and prevent accidents. Cobalt hesitates for a long moment before nodding slowly. If you say so, Dr. S, but it might not be good for the birdies. That's why we're starting just with these 2 eggs. If it doesn't work out with them, I'll probably scratch the whole idea and sort out another way to do this. She looks over to Cobalt from the readouts on the egg. Now, which one do you want for your jumping buddy? You want me to pick? You might as well, Kobe. You're the one who's going to carry the egg for me. Dr. Salazar Newman puts the second egg into its incubator and then reaches out a hand and briefly ruffles the young Florvin's mess of silver hair. Cobalt allows the contact, although their ears twitch with a momentary irritation. Florvins in general are known to be semi-eusocial and quite tactile, affectionate species. For a number of reasons that they would never openly discuss, Dr. Salazar Newman is currently the only person in the galaxy whom Cobalt ever allows to touch them, even casually. She's also the only person thus far whom they've come to trust with the full truth of those reasons. Cobalt becomes very quiet, staring intently at each egg, with all 3 of their golden eyes for some time, before gesturing at the second one that was taken out of the bag. This one, maybe. It doesn't make much difference, but I like this one. Any particular reason? Cobalt shrugs. Not really. Fair enough. Dr. Salazar Newman laughs and stands up from her chair. Come on then, help me close this place down for the night so we can both get a bit of rest. The bird sitting on her head is bothered enough by the abrupt movement now to make a few unhappy chirps and then fly over to the collection of colorful branches where the rest of the flock is sleeping to find a less active place to perch for the night. It might often accompany her around the ship, but it always sleeps in the bird room. Elder Navy said to make sure you'd not forgotten to eat dinner if I found you here instead of in your quarters, says Cobalt, busying himself with tidying one of the cluttered workbenches. You know, Kobe, I can't remember if I did. Dr. Salazar Newman shuts down the holoscreen she'd been staring at before they came in and rests a hand behind her ear in a brief, thoughtful gesture. We'll just have to drop by the mess to sort out snacks or something on our way. That sounds good to me. As the 2 of them leave and Dr. Salazar Newman taps the keypad beside the door to turn off the lights, the 2 eggs sit silently in their incubators, warm and unaware that they've been chosen for a different destiny altogether from the rest of the clutch they started in. And that is the end of Chapter 1. And the story, of course, continues on from there, and you will get to find out what happens to the egg and where all this goes and more if you want to read the book for yourself. I'm not going to spoil it too much, but I do hope that y'all enjoyed me reading it. It's something I've been working on for quite some time, and I am so proud to finally have it done. This has been a journey for me going through and actually getting this whole book set up and into printed form. Some of you may know I am a general visual artist in addition to all of the other stuff that I do as a writer, and I have done the cover art on this myself, which was an adventure because my computer ate it the first time, and then I've gone through and taught myself to use InDesign so that I could do all of the layouts and typefaces. It's self-published, but it's my best attempt at self-publishing I could possibly put together. So I hope that y'all have enjoyed hearing me read the first bit of it. And if anyone has questions, this is my question and answer part of the moment. If you would like to leave a comment on Facebook or here on Instagram, I will be here for a bit and I will happily answer those. Just gonna double check. Let's see. Yes, thank you Brenda and Tally and Mom and everyone else for the birthday wishes. I do appreciate that so much. And thank you, Nick. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I always enjoyed reading some stuff out loud. I'm looking forward to doing this more often in the future, and I see that there is someone at my studio door. I'm not entirely sure if my mother is intending to come in and say hello or not, but you can hear my cat saying hello in the background. Age group wise, this is written, I will say my writing is sort of an all ages kind of thing. If you know me very well, you know I'm not a romance writer in any sense of the word. And with this particular book, I would say it's kind of like high school and up, probably. But, and this is in answer to Brenda's question on Facebook, what age group would this appeal to the most? The people who've read it for me as I've been working on it have been age ranging from a bit younger than me all the way up to my biggest fan who's here at the studio door waving at me, which is my mother. So it's very much I feel like it's kind of an all ages sort of story. If you'd like to know more about that sort of thing, or if you have any concerns about it for sharing with a younger person, feel free to message me and I can tell you some of that without giving away too many spoilers. But there is nothing super intense and there's certainly nothing graphic that happens in this book or really in any of my writing. I'm very much I write optimistic stories that are about, like this one, found friendship, family, and just happy, positive stories that you can read and that make you feel good for having read them. So yeah, do I have any other questions? Again, if anyone, let me check and see on my phone. No, I don't seem to have any comments on Instagram. Let's see. And I don't have that many other comments on Facebook. Do you want to? This is the part where I asked my mother to come in from the studio door so I can ask her, are there any other things you would want me to tell people about this book, since I don't really have that many questions prepared that people have asked me. Somebody remind me the next time I do a Q&A thing to collect questions for a week in advance so that I have them. Anything else? Okay. But yeah, so Feathered Friendship, it's a story about people being friends and finding family for who they are, and it is a story that's very dear to my heart. And Cobalt is one of the first characters from this universe who showed up when I started writing the long form project that is yet to be announced. Hint there. So I hope that y'all have enjoyed this reading of the book, and I will be live streaming again, reading the first chapter again at 8 p.m. tonight. That's US Central or GMT -6, whichever version you want to look at. So if you want to hear me read the first chapter again, or if you know somebody who might enjoy this and want them to hear it, send them my way at 8 o'clock, because that is when I will be live streaming again. And if you come up with any other questions for me in the meantime, please feel free to send those. And again, I stream as at Little Fairy Silverwings on Instagram and at Katie Silverwings on everything else. I'm working on setting up Twitch and different things, but on all of my social media, it is at Katie Silverwings. And then those of you who are on my Instagram know I have a second Instagram account. But thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully hear from you soon, and I hope that you enjoy the book. And remember, if you get the signed copy, there is a shiny sticker, a shiny bookmark, and some variety of bird. The birds are in all different sizes that will be coming with that. So thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Let's see. There's how I end this.